So, hey, you guys, I am just coming on to talk about something that I just want to talk about. I just want to talk about this. And it's about being ghosted, specifically by friends. Friends. I feel like at some point we should start treating being ghosted by friends the same way we treat being ghosted by romantic interests. Like if you have been dating someone and they ghost you, what do you typically do? You typically let them go, right? If they try to come back and try to um reconcile things, or they have this long explanation. Now if it's for something serious, like for instance, like they had a family member that passed away or something like that, and they kind of have a reasonable alibi, then okay, cool. Like depending on, you know, whether or not you want to take this person back or you want to give them another chance, that's more so kind of understandable. But if they have no excuse for why they ghosted you and they just pop back up in your life, like, hey, how are you? Like, how are you doing? Yeah, I just had a lot going on. I'm working on my business. I got some family problems going on. No, mm-mm, mm-mm. Nope, 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 nope. Now, specifically being ghosted by friends, I feel like it's kind of the same thing because, especially if it's repetitive, like if they're repetitively ghosting you, then I just feel like they just don't want to be your friend. I just feel like either they just don't really like you like that, they're not rocking with you like that, they, for whatever reason, they just not feeling you like that. They don't want to be friends no more because there's nothing. Sending a text message like, "Hey, girl, I can't make it. I'm sorry, I got caught up. I had to do something, or I'm in a business meeting, or whatever the excuse is." It literally takes a couple seconds to send a text message about like, "Okay, I can't make it. I'm sorry," or "Hey, I'm sick," or "I got caught up," or whatever the case is. Like it literally takes like a couple seconds to send a text message if you can't make it. But if you're repetitively getting ghosted by friends, that's not your friend. Like, that's not your friend. And um, me, I've experienced that a couple of times where, like a friend or someone that I'm cool with, they just don't respond. Like one minute they'll be texting me back and forth and so enthused about, us hanging out, and so enthusiastic about us hanging out, or we planning something and they're like, "Yeah, let's do it, girl. I'm excited. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'll meet you here, blah blah blah." And then time goes by and they're gone. They don't respond. They don't say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it," or "Hey, I don't think this is a good time," or blah blah blah, whatever. It's nothing to just have respect and just say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it. Hey, I'm sorry, I have too much going on right now in my life. I'm going through a lot, girl. It's just not a good time." But if they just unread, y'all don't think that that's disrespectful, or is it just me? Am I just too sensitive? Like, I wouldn't do that to you. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that to you. So why are you doing that to me? That's not a friend, if you ask me. I don't feel like you should consider that type of person a friend, because it's all about respect and consideration for you, for your time. It's just like common courtesy. Like, you know what I mean? If you can't make it, then just tell me that. We can still be cool. We can still be friends. And same goes for romantic interest. Okay, if you're dating someone you just met, you feel like this person don't owe you anything. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't owe this person anything, so I'm just about to ghost them. That's fine and dandy, but would you want that done to you? That's the real question. Like, would you want to just be blatantly ghosted just out of nowhere instead of just having that person say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I can't make it, or I got tied up, or whatever, whatever, whatever." Like, if y'all plan a date or something like that, and they just literally don't show up, I feel like that's the most rude thing you can ever do to a person is just not show up, not respond, not reply. That is so rude. And yeah, life goes on. These people don't owe you anything. Y'all are not married. Y'all not in a relationship. Okay, that's understandable. But my thing is, it's all about consideration. It's all about common courtesy, morals, like respect. Because if you don't, my thing is, if you wouldn't want it done to you, don't do it to that person. If you wouldn't want this done to you, don't do it to them. And that's just how life goes. That's just how life is. Like, that's karma, you know? And you out here ghosting all these people and you just not responding. You blatantly just not, you ignoring them, leaving them on red, and you going about your life like nothing ever happened. You don't think that that energy is going to come back to you? You don't think that karma is going to come back to you? Because at the end of the day, yeah, you may not owe them nothing, but we're all human. We all want respect. We all want love. We all want to feel, like we belong. You know what I'm saying? So if you just out here ignoring people, you know, putting them on a back burner, leaving them on red, ghosting them, that energy is going to come back on you tenfold, especially if you're repeatedly doing that, especially if you're doing that all the time and that's just something that you always do. That energy is going to come back to you. So that's my thing. And I feel like we shouldn't give our friends a slap on the wrist just because they're our friends. Because if you're really my friend, you would have enough decency and enough respect for me to tell me, "Hey, girl, I got caught up. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to make it. I don't think I can make our little dinner date for next week because I got this going on or I got that going on." Okay, I understand. Life happens, but it's all about respect and, just being there. Like, just being there for your friend. If you know you can't make it or if you know you got something going on, just say that. It's all about communication. No matter how much you think this person may be upset, no matter how much you think they may be, feeling some type of way, or they may not want to be your friend no more, or whatever the case is, at least you did your part in letting them know. And whatever they choose to do with that information, that's what they choose to do with it. But as long as you do your part and as long as your slate is clean, you don't have anything else to worry about because you did what you were supposed to do and life happens. And if they can't understand that, then they can't understand that, and that it is what it is. But I've never been a big fan of friends that do things like that because I've never been a friend like that. I've never been that type of friend that just ghosts you. I've never been like that because I know how it feels to be ignored, to be undervalued, to be pushed to the side, to be put on a back burner, to feel like you're less than. You know what I mean? And I don't care what nobody says. If you're constantly being ghosted, if you're constantly being ignored and treated that way, you're going to have these emotions and these feelings and this, because if you've been through enough in life and enough trauma to know how that feels, these emotions are automatically going to come up when stuff like that happens because you're human. It don't mean you feed into those emotions and those feelings. Don't mean that you just let them sit and just continue thinking about them, and you just you don't feed into that stuff. But it doesn't mean it don't come up. It doesn't mean you don't feel these things. You know what I'm saying? So as a human, it's just like, come on, come on. Like, just let me know what it is and what it's not. You know what I mean? And I just feel like a lot of good-hearted people that let things slide, they get treated the worst. And at some point, if you're a good-hearted person, you need to learn how to have a backbone. You need to learn how to start telling people what it is and what it ain't and be assertive. You don't have to be rude, you don't have to be disrespectful, but you can always just let them know, hey, you know, by the way, I didn't really like the way that you said that, or I didn't really like the way that you left me on red, or whatever the case is. I didn't really like the way that you went about that situation. So moving forward, if you can just be kind enough to let me know, da 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 da, you know, instead of allowing things to continue happening and you just accept it, accept it, accept it, accept it, accept it. At the end of the day, people are going to treat you the way that you treat you. People are going to treat you the way that you allow them to treat you. So if you continuously taking people back that ghost you, that ignore you, that leave you on red, that don't respect your time, who's to blame at this point? Because it's not them. Because people are going to do what you allow them to. So, regardless of whether it's a friend that's ghosting you or whether it's a romantic interest that's ghosting you, you have more control than you think you do. You have control of that situation because you can either accept their behavior or you can bounce and let them know, bro, I'm not tolerating this behavior. Like, I don't know who you got me mixed up with, but this ain't that. So, friend, boyfriend, whoever, family, whatever, because it's not that much busy in the world. Like, everybody has, like, we're all adults, everybody has lives, everybody has responsibilities. Like, we have kids, we have things we have to do with our time. I get it, but at the same time, listen, you can respect me enough to let me know what's up, friend or not. And I just always have had these feelings of like, okay, how would I want to be treated in this situation? And I don't know if that's a common thing, to where it's like I try to put myself in in other people's shoes, and kind of switch roles, to where, like, okay, how would I feel if this was done to me? How would I feel? And I've always had that, and I've just always been that type of friend, to where it's like, if I don't want this done to me, then I'm not gonna do it to you, you know. And I understand in some situations there's exceptions to the rule, depending on, like, if this person did something to you, and you found out about it, and then um you just don't really, like, you're not very confrontational, so you just don't really want to, you know rock the boat or get into it with this person, so you just bow out gracefully. That's a whole nother situation. But if this person is somebody that's a part of your life, and they do this often, and there's no explanation, especially if there's no explanation behind it, like, they just go see you without no type of explanation. They just pop back up like, hey girl, how you doing, how you been, sis? Do you not remember when you left me on red? Do you not remember when I asked you if you wanted to go here or go there, and you said, yeah, let's do it, when we going, what time? And then all of a sudden you just no call, no show, and now you popping back up in my life like nothing ever happened. If that's something that this friend is doing repetitively, that's not your friend. I don't care what anyone says. Like, that's not your friend. Maybe they just feel like y'all energy. Maybe they just don't want to be your friend for real, but don't want to tell you that. And maybe y'all energies just don't align. Where you guys are headed in life is not aligning, and that's okay. Like, you know, people grow apart. That's just understandable. You know what I mean? And sometimes people just don't want to be like, hey, I just don't feel like we're aligning as friends. So I don't think we should be friends anymore. Sometimes it's easier to just, like just leave. Just don't show up no more. Just ghost. You know. But this is something that this person is doing often, consistently, all the time. That's a huge red flag. That's a red flag to me. And honestly, like, I feel like if it's consistent, and the person is doing it all the time, mm-mm. Time for you to find another friend. Time for you to find a new friend group. People grow apart all the time. Some friendships don't last always, and that's okay. But it's up to you to identify that and to plan your exit route. Sorry for the wind. I know the wind is probably really loud, but my thing. I just kind of want to come on and say that because a lot of times we stay in relationships way past their expiration date, and oftentimes that's a huge part of what's holding us back is staying in these relationships, these situationships, these friendships for longer than we should, and the signs are there. The signs are there, we ignore them, and then the next thing you know, something dramatic happens, and now your back is against the wall. Now you definitely can't be their friend. Now you're forced to not be their friend anymore because either they didn't slept with your man, they didn't stole from you, you caught them talking behind your back, they did some shady stuff, or they get around their other friend group and y'all are all hanging around and they start acting funny around their other friend group, this, that, and the third. There's always signs before these things happen. And a lot of times we ignore them because of the history behind the relationship. So that's my whole thing. Like, if they're your so called friend, they're not going to be ghosting you. They're not going to be continuously ghosting you all the time. That's not a friend. Friends communicate. Okay? Bye.